through your slides, and you're going to cover this up a little bit. Dominic's the first person to do 2 talks at No Code Scotland Meetup. He gave a talk, what was it, 2 years ago now? God, I can't remember. Ancient history. So thank you so much for coming back. You've recovered from the first one. Yeah, let me look at this. Seamless AV. Okay. Oh, and yeah, I'm really sorry to the speakers, but you do have to come into this little cave around here because of the screen. But yeah, it should just work with so, thank you so much.
I don't.
Oh,
no, you don't need this.
This is just for questions.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Today we'll be talking about Chrome extensions, getting started with Chrome extensions, especially when it comes to no-code. Don't worry if you don't know what that is. I talk a little bit about what it is. I talk a little bit about no-code and how we come to be where we are in the no-code community, and show you some use cases too. Very quick, very straightforward, 10 to 15 minutes. If you have any questions, I'm sure you will. Feel free to ask them. This presentation is specialized on Chrome extensions, but my experience spans through automations, AI, blockchain, when it comes specifically to using no-code in these different spaces. We're going to talk a little bit about what is no-code. I'm going to tell you about me, about Chrome extensions, about the specific tool I use to create Chrome extensions, some projects I've made, which is a little bit fun, and some case studies. If you guys missed my name's Dominic. I'm a technology educator and serial entrepreneur. I am a former international collegiate athlete. I still play basketball, but not at the same level. As you may be able to tell, I'm from London. 2 years ago, 2 years ago, I raised a 150K pre-seed in New York for a HR tech startup. That startup's no longer going on, but was a fun journey. I have a social enterprise that's focused on missing black people across the country. So we work with police forces across the country when it comes to their strategies, when it comes to missing people. We've been featured in BBC, ITV, and more. I only put University of Technology Jamaica here, but I'm often a guest lecturer in many different universities, working with many different accelerators and incubators, especially when it comes to no-code and low-code, and very experienced when it comes to no-code, low-code, and creating content and teaching when it comes to this space. Without further ado, what is no-code? So I've said it a million times already, but simply put, it's an approach to creating applications using visual interfaces without writing traditional code. Some of you, and looking around in the room, some of you may be familiar with some of these platforms that I'm going to mention. We have come a very, very long way when it comes to software development. Some of you might remember Dreamweaver, you might remember FrontPage, you might remember Logo, but I see some people holding their heads. But when we're talking about Logo and Dreamweaver, these were some of the earliest conceptions of what no-code is today. And with the Web 2.0 boom, the rise of website builders, now the rise of AI, what's actually been happening is we've been abstracting away from the core mechanics of developing software. So once upon a time, you had to actually know how a network works to put your website online. Now you don't. Now we have cloud computing, now we have AI, now we have all these different tools where someone that's very, very inexperienced to technology can actually build their own website and build it relatively stably. And this is the promise of no code, and really this is the promise of technology. As time goes on, we're developing systems to make it easier and easier for people to build technological solutions, and this is what this space is about. What is a Chrome extension? I'm not sure if anyone actually uses Chrome, so some people, usually in these talks, people are really resistant to Chrome, and people using Brave and different things, but Chrome is still the most popular web browser out there, and a Chrome extension actually enhances the functionality or adds features to your browsing experience. You install Chrome extensions from the Chrome Web Store. It's available via Mac or Windows, it doesn't really matter, and it can be developed with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. When we're going to talk about Builder, Builder actually generates all of that for you. a little bit about the statistics around Chrome usage, because a lot of people are not really familiar with how big it is and the opportunity there is. So there are almost 5.3 billion internet users. 2.6 of them are Chrome users. So you can see how big in terms of Google Chrome, how big it is. But when it comes to the available applications, you can see the opportunity for how many applications are available. So about 200,000, there's actually slightly less than that in the Chrome Web Store. Compared to the App Store, there's 2 million. Compared to the Google Play Store, there's 3.5 million. So huge opportunities when it comes to the Chrome Web Store, severely overlooked. There are reasons for that we will get into a little bit later. When it goes to the breakdown by category, productivity extensions are the most popular, then it's kind of fun kind of extensions, then it's photo-related extension, and then it's developer tools. Okay, does anyone have any questions before we jump into Builder about Chrome extensions, the marketplace, like how it actually works? If not, we'll jump into Builder, my tool of choice. So when it comes to no-code, there are so many different tools out there to do so many different things. Some of you might be familiar with Wix or Squarespace or maybe even Bubble. Those come under the website builder category. But then you have other tools. Some tools that allow you to create Chrome extensions like Builder. Some tools allow you to do a little bit of everything. I choose Builder because I feel like, and you'll see in some of the screenshots a little bit later, Builder has features dedicated to producing Chrome extensions. And while you can produce Chrome extensions with a tool like Bubble or some other tools, I think Builder is the closest to making it really seamless to develop very particular kinds of Chrome extensions. You can export the code with Builder. It's relatively affordable. And I say that with the disclaimer that I bought a lifetime license a couple years ago, so I'm not paying for it when they're hiking the prices now. But they do have a freemium version that makes it affordable to at least experiment, which is the first start. The challenge is there's no native CMS. So I will talk about it in some of my Chrome extensions that I built, but I'm using APIs and third-party databases to actually store data. This is what the interface actually looks like, and I use this screenshot in particular because, and I'm trying to step around and show you. This bit is one of the key features. So it allows you to visually actually create flows, create conditions, and just drag and drop to select a particular action that you want. So what I've highlighted here in this screenshot is specific actions that are dedicated to Chrome. So you can see here, capture image of visible tab, scrape data from the page, you can get values from tags. It's just there and you don't have to do too much. You just activate it and say what you want to store it as a variable. Very, very simple to get started. So talking a little bit about my projects. This is the first project. This is one of the first public projects that I made when it comes to Chrome extensions. And this was made in, I don't know, maybe 21. I think I made this a couple years ago. We're in 24 now, so 2021. And I made this to detect crypto scams. So what it does, it looks at the current URL a user's on, and it cross-references that across the CoinMarketCap database. So if you're on a fake Bitcoin website that's not in the CoinMarketCap database, it will say, hey, this is marked unsafe. Very, very simple. And all I'm using is one of these here, is getting the domain, and I'm saying, is this domain in the CoinMarketCap database? If it says yes, show this. If it's no, show this. Very, very simple. And this is how you can simply build Chrome extensions with no code. The next project is called Wrong Move, and I think some of you will resonate with this a lot. I saw on Twitter this tweet. It said, imagine if Rightmove had a comment section under each property, it would be chaotic. And I saw 1,000 retweets, and I saw dollar signs. in my eyes. Even though monetizing something like this is not straightforward, but that's a whole different conversation. I was like, I can build that really, really easily. And I did build it. I saw this, I can't even remember when I saw it, but I built it in a weekend, just chilling. Called it Wrong Move. And all it does, you go to a particular property, so this is a property in Edinburgh, and obviously there's no comments under this listing, but you activate the Chrome extension and you can see the comments under this listing. What it's doing in the back end, and this is the key for me, this is the beauty, is all it's doing is taking the domain and it's storing comments that people are listing under a domain, if that makes sense. So what Builder's doing is just retrieving the domain, looking in my database and say, okay, what are the items under this domain? And then it will list it, if there's any items under the domain. So you can see here, all of this is variable conditions. So if it goes to my database and it doesn't see the domain, it will say, hey, there's no comments under this listing. If it sees the domain, it's gonna show something different. And conditional views are really easy to do with no code, really easy to do with Builder. There is a key note here, and it might be very key, especially when we come to the unicorn use cases, that these are MVPs. I kept the scope to these really, really small, and that's where no code works well. Now, if I just threw in a lot of complexity, it would have been very difficult to build, it would have been time consuming to build. I've got a lot of feedback on both of these. I had a few acquisition offers for this one, especially during the height of like the whole blockchain thing. This one generated a lot of interest and followers on TikTok. The challenge that I've had with Chrome extensions, especially when it comes to younger audiences, they're like, oh, how do we download this? Where is it in the App Store? Like, the familiarity around Chrome extensions, developers know Chrome extensions, but when you talk about the general public, they don't know about Chrome extensions as much. So I'm not sure if anybody's actually used this or heard about Honey. Honey was acquired by PayPal and still is a Chrome extension for real-time price discounts for online purchases. It is, I believe it's still free, but obviously they're monetizing through price drop alerts, coupon codes, Amazon analysis, cashback rewards. So they have lots of different revenue streams. It was acquired for $4 billion. I'm sure all of us will love that money. It had 17 million monthly active users. And for a Chrome extension, that is a significant amount. You can probably argue for an app that's a significant amount, but by app standards, it's probably not even equivalent. So yeah, interesting use case.
How complicated was that one compared to when you start doing? Were you able to reconstruct it?
I could reconstruct.
Dominic, do you mind repeating the question? Sorry, I should.
Oh yeah.
Should have given you this.
Sure.
Actually, yeah.
Did you record it, wouldn't you?
Oh yes.
How complicated is Honey compared to what you'd be creating in terms of, did you reverse engineer?
I think what will make it difficult when it comes to their feature set is the price drop alerts. They have a feature where you can add an item to your cart, and when the price changes, it notifies you. Like that will be a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
But that's where you get into, they have, I don't want to say a proprietary database, but they have a database that is their key. Like the key isn't the Chrome extension. The key is what's going on in their database. To even identify price changes. That's the beauty. The Chrome extension is just like the user side of it. Coupon codes, easy to do. Cashback rewards, easy to do if you have the partnerships. Even Amazon analysis, but the real-time price changes, that would have been a lot harder. But again, because they're dealing with items, you would have to, just like I cross-referenced a property with my database, the key is that database. So wherever you have, if you have a database of valuable information that's up to date, it works. Just like with my Chrome extension for detecting crypto scams. The part that I skipped out, I have an automation that scrapes from CoinMarketCap using Make. So I think the last time it scraped was actually not recently. but I was running an automation that was scraping frequently. It was costing me money, but that's why I just turned it off.
But that's a scraper, that database that you think as well, it's just like it from.
Yeah, they're most likely scraping it from somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, get another way.
But that's the beauty. That's why it costs 4 billion for PayPal.
Yeah. Thank you.
The next one, Toucan. So this was acquired by Babbel, language learning app. They had language learning service. They had 30 million funding, 300,000 downloads, and it's a browser to learn languages. So I'm not sure if you can actually notice, but English, and you had the Spanish word here, English and a Spanish word. So you kind of get the concept. Things like this, relatively easy to do, but with all no code or with just really all products, distribution, a little bit more challenging. That is, are we in?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, you're finished.
So we're finished with the presentation. Definitely open to any questions, whether it's about Chrome extensions or widely, no code and all that.
Can we get a round of applause before we go on to questions? This makes me feel like I'm at a very grown-up meetup. Yeah, any questions, and I'll kind of bring you this.
Thanks, Dominic. That was good. You mentioned monetizing, and you can alluded to it potentially being difficult to monetize. Is that the reason why the users, 200,000 versus, apps, 200,000 versus 3.5 and 2. What it was for Apple? Is that why there's such a huge disparity?
I'm not sure if it's the user base. I think we saw the number one being productivity apps, so it's for a specific audience to download Chrome extensions. Even though fun was number 2, people are not downloading Chrome extensions just for fun purposes. And it's a little bit harder. Models. So I always thought crypto scanning detector could be like the services, the antivirus services, where you have some people that download it for free, but there's a lot of serious people paying for it. But you have to really, especially with something blockchain related, you have to really push. This one was a little bit different because one thing I noticed when I started to speak to people is a lot of people wanted to be able to read the comments, but they couldn't read the comments without having the Chrome extension. So they wanted to be able to at least preview it beforehand, but they needed to download to preview it. It just wasn't, that was a barrier for them. And I did actually send out a bunch of LinkedIn messages to right-move competitors. I'm like, hey, this can be a great marketing, guerrilla marketing strategy for you. I didn't get anything back.
Thank you.
How much has the market changed since 21? We've seen put some numbers up there.
Yeah.
Comparing it to the other, I suppose the go-to default stores. Extensions, as you say, you don't automatically think of that, so you kind of have your fading things. But have Google bolted on more stuff and made it more functional and dynamic for you to do more stuff? Has it not really changed that?
Google haven't changed a whole lot, but especially with their web store, they haven't changed a whole lot. I don't actually think they will change a whole lot. I would say when it comes to web browsing, the biggest change has only been recently with Bing and the AI integrations they're having. And I'm, at least where it is for Bing right now, I'm not 100% confident with it. But when it comes to the web store, they haven't changed a whole lot.
Yeah, because AI and those extensions, I see it way over before, I was on yesterday wanted to draw a picture, and it's, it wasn't that user friendly. So it's probably, it's very immature working.
Yeah. One thing I did learn and I'm sure especially many of the entrepreneurs know this, is these are B2C applications. If you want to make money, you don't want to build a B2C application. But it was a fun project, learned a lot with it, and I'm not sure what Chrome extension I would build for B2B. I'm not even sure if, from an enterprise standpoint, they're caring about Chrome extensions. I'm not sure. But yeah, very interesting B2C. And then there are some, I made a AI, so I made a AI assistant that looks at, you give it a screenshot of your landing page and it critiques your landing page. And when I revisited Builder actually for the presentation, I saw, oh, actually they have capture image from visible tag. I'm like, oh, I can just make a Chrome extension that does that, open a Chrome extension, it critiques whatever landing page. But again, the point I'm at when I come to some of these projects is like monetization, like is someone gonna pay for this?
Yeah.
And if they're not, I'm kind of like, I don't know,
Yeah.
they could sit over there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
A quick question. So you have used Builder, and yes, you build Chrome extension using that, but so Builder, from your experience, what other type of applications we could build using that?
People build web applications with them. I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I exclusively use, and it's easier for me because I have the lifetime license, so I can just say, hey, I'm just going to use it for this because I paid one time. But I exclusively use it for Chrome extensions. I'm not sure if you're familiar with other tools, but I like Softer. I use Softer for basic web applications. If you want to get into more complex, like really complex for me, I like to use Bubble, but that's for like higher complexity stuff. I only use this for Chrome extensions. And that's, but sometimes I do wish like what they have here with the actions, and you can just drag and drop the actions. I wish Bubble had that, and I wish some of the other platforms had it. And what I do like here is the export functionality. I'm exporting the code. I can manipulate the code if I want to manipulate the code. It just works for Chrome extensions. I don't think they have it figured out for web applications.
Right.
It's just not, it's not the same process for me anyway.
Yeah, another one is probably a little bit of sharing or a question. So when you mentioned B2B, the immediate thing that came to my mind was, browser automations. Like say, for example, there are contact center users who use browser-based applications. They copy from one screen, paste it to another. I think such kind of extension, because I was looking at something like that, I couldn't find anything reliable, whereby people do a lot of alt tab and all those stuff, but can I just get form data and then easily paste it in another screen kind of thing. Yeah, some tools were there, but they are not reliable.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you. We've probably got time for one more question, if anyone would like to ask another question.
Yeah, just going back to monetization. If you did decide to monetize one of your extensions, would a tool like this be able to, have you seen any features for adding a paywall to an app like that and Stripe integration?
Yeah, they have, just like you can see these modules, they have modules for like Stripe integrations. They have like pre-built modules for like create an easy sign up and forgot password and user authentication flows. They have modules for Airtable and lots of different like third-party applications to get data from and add data to. When you talk about Chrome extensions, you're probably going to monetize at the point of like marketplace. You can monetize at the point of like inside your, like, I'm not sure if you know TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy? TubeBuddy is like one of the most popular YouTube analytics tools. It's a Chrome extension too, but they don't monetize at the point of like download. They monetize like in their own website. So you could do that, but I would actually monetize at the point of download. Okay. So mine are free, but you can charge whatever you want to charge.
I'm having a question.
Okay, one.
Just a quick one, commercially, what extensions, besides the ones you got there, they were free, weren't they?
Yeah.
What one of the sales Numbers.
I don't think I actually had the slide, but it was stuff like virus checkers. It was like productivity
Yeah.
stuff. It wasn't fun. It wasn't even stuff like this. It was like really, really boring.
It solves a problem, that's
Yeah.
what it
Solve the problem and that's it.
Yeah, it makes sense, that's it, yeah. Thank you.
Cool. Well, can we get another round of applause?
I'm going to pop this up really quickly because I know Dominic has to go in the next wee while, so if you do want to follow up with him, here's his details. So photo, or I can connect you afterwards if you like that. But yeah, I've never used Build, but now I just really want to build something with it. I'm not quite sure what. I don't know. All I can think of is